Alright, then it's time for a Nautilus game, and it's been quite a while since I've had one. Which one? And with his whole being rampantly picked for support, I know. Which some people are dying to see him back in the jungle. Now, I didn't have the proper runes set up for him, though it's not too widely different. It's attack speed red, attack speed quints, armor yellow, and magic resistance blues. Though normally I would want movement speed quints. Either and attack speed reds, which is kind of what I always take regardless. Anyways, masteries are 9, 21, 0, but 0, 18, and 12 also work out, getting some of the obvious ones. Movement speed, cooldown reduction, and stuff like that. Well, cooldown reduction from offensive tree is important, and attack speed. Either way, watch this. Top lane can't gank for them. Mid lane try to do it, but Kog'Maw gives me away. He, instead of going to the right to his tower, he goes to the left to a more dangerous spot. It immediately tells Victor, you know what? Kog'Maw took the more dangerous path where I would probably kill him. That means his homie is around. So he backed away. Unfortunately, here I show up just in time to end up kind of kill stealing. I didn't know if Jax was going to die. Either way, and this cost me my life. So we're already playing from behind. Kog'Maw's getting his ass kicked by Victor, and I can't seemingly help him because Kog'Maw's responsiveness in lane isn't all too good. Bottom lane is warded, as it was evident that they backed off before I left the bush. So it's a very slow start. Now, Jungle Nautilus, he didn't really get helped too much by the Cinderhulk. I made a point of mentioning this a little while back. Cinderhulk sort of helped the junglers who were already pretty decent, and anyone who has a really strong late game got made stronger because Cinderhulk makes their late game come sooner. Unfortunately, Nautilus's early game is so weak, it's just kind of not able to save him, right? So still, the changes to his support have made his changes to his E have made him a more viable support. So at least he gets to see some play. In the jungle, as you can see, it's just kind of I can't force a lot of situations to happen, and there's a lot of means of dealing with me. Nonetheless, though, once you get level 6, your ganks become stronger. I couldn't gank down bottom lane because the Caitlyn flashed out of my ult range. That was actually a really appropriate way to counter me. Now, in this case, I ult into the Victor. I don't use my Q yet until I get behind so I can pull him a little bit farther back. But unfortunately, I couldn't pull him far back enough and I still got stunned. And then I got killed by Wukong. So once again, this is kind of a fucked up situation. Now, one of Nautilus's biggest weaknesses is being counter-ganked, I mean. He really has no way of fighting back in a counter-gank. It just kind of stands there and gets wailed on. And he doesn't contribute to the damage or killing potential. I mean, aside from CCing somebody, but in a 2v2 doesn't matter too much. So, yeah, counter-ganks are his biggest weakness. That's why you tend to want to avoid champions that can tear him to pieces. Something like a Lee Sin or Olaf and Rexa. You just want to avoid those types of champions. In this case, Wukong, he is counter-ganking me, but he's not one of the ones I would consider lesser. Either way, check this out. The Annie, I don't know if she knew I was here, but she is taunting the shit out of me. So I back away, just back away and just immediately zoom in, just to give him less of a chance to react. And CC lock him, and he fucking dies. It's kind of insulting for them to be doing that. I don't know if he knew I was there. I didn't bother to check through the replay system if they had a ward there. So, whatever. It still cost them 2 lives, and it cost them their tower, so it's a huge swing for us. We're still behind, though, overall as a team. Now, I hope you've already noticed, I have a support Ezreal. And I have a mid Kog'Maw, basically 380 carries, though one is being played AP. The other one's being, the Ezreal's being played as a support who's going to be building a hybrid of some kind. So, yeah, my team comp is really, really weak. I picked Nautilus when I saw my teammate lock in that Ezreal. Because, holy crap, we don't have any actual tankiness or anything. So I figured I'll be Nautilus, I'll create a wall, I'll focus my entire game on being a bodyguard. So the first items I'll be buying, aside from Cinderhulk, will be pure aura. I need to defend my teammates, provide more crowd control, and just be crazy in this. If I fail in team fights, it's going to cost us the entire game. Now watch this. Victor is just nowhere near his minions, so I wait behind the line of sight, just waiting for him to get a little bit closer, and he does. He ends up getting slowed by Kog'Maw Slime. We CC lock him, and he gets too close, and she gets knocked up too, and then she just gets immediately destroyed. I flash over because I thought Kog'Maw's ultimate wasn't going to hit, and I wanted to secure the kill on Annie. Unfortunately, that just caused me to waste my flash, so I'm down to resources. Still, it was a really good swing as well, and we're basically resetting the game. We're back on even grounds for the most part, but I'm very worried about team fights because, again, Ezreal and Ashe, they didn't do too hot in the lane phase, though I did help reset it. Ezreal support isn't really, useful, and Rengar, if he fails in killing anybody, he's not going to contribute much beyond that in a team fight. And considering they see him as the only threat beyond my backline, they may just prepare for him. So I'm very worried about our team fighting. So yeah, again, I'm building Aura. I'm trying to make building the smite, blue smite, just to provide more CC and a little bit of burst. Okay, watch this. I use my ultimate immediately on Caitlyn because she's trapped in next to Annie, so I figure it's going to hit both of them. Annie moves away, which was smart, but Caitlyn completely leaves herself alone, so she gets just destroyed. This is a really bad fight for my team, though. We're kind of in a corridor, and it's allowing Victor to just hand blast us. Wukong ends up sneaking from behind and killing Rengar, and I believe he also kills another teammate. And it's just so bad. We do not lose as badly as I thought. Kog'Maw's explosion and my inability to, die quickly enough allows us to at least pick up Victor too. So it ends up being a huge trade. Like we lose 4. I mean, we lose 5 and they lose 4. So it's not the worst situation. And then Wukong dies anyway, so it's kind of like a 5 for 5, just a lot more delayed. Here I catch the Annie because she too got slowed and just gets just completely out of position. Caitlyn, for some reason, eased forward to us. You'll see it right now. And then Victor gets hit by the arrow, and we just picked him off. That was a huge mechanical failure, but honestly, we all screw up sometimes. In fact, I'm going to screw up at one point in this game too. Now, Nautilus, as far as things go, I don't quite recommend him anymore in solo queue, simply because right now the game requires you to be able to kill things. This meta is all about, inflicting CC and stuff, for sure, but also being able to murder things in the process of doing so. And Nautilus just doesn't have that. I would say this is why Sejuani is one of the top dogs too, because her late game allows her to murder people. So like Nautilus, I can set people up to die for sure. I can do things like that. But the jungle role, there's just so many other choices I could have made that could do things similar, even though weaker than Nautilus, but also provide killing potential. Either way, the enemy team locks into the Kog'Maw. They get CC locked and everything, like I mentioned, and we managed to pick up Annie too. The Annie's not as worth much as the Kog'Maw, so that's an unfortunate trade-off. But we did get a few of their flashes, and we also got Wukong's ultimate. So for a little while, we don't have that to contend with. However, this fight here is just an atrocity. The Ashe stays in range of Jax, even though she can't hit him because he's using his dodge. He jumps in, starts bashing the Ashe's brains out, and I can't possibly see him down long enough. So it's like, I'm trying my best, but I just can't. So Jax is able to kill the Ashe. Jax actually survives this, so it's just a catastrophic defeat for us. We kill the Victor at some point. The Rengar is able to murder him, but it's still a really bad loss. Because if we had fought that a little bit better, we might have gone even, or at least just picked off somebody and left. Though I have no doubt we would have lost someone regardless. So right now, my aim in team fights, again, is just to be this immovable wall. Put myself in front of my teammates and just keep away the MVPs. Make sure to lock down either Victor or Annie before they blow their ultimates on my teammates, or get the Caitlyn if they've already used their stuff. Like the Wukong, I don't think there's a way I can actually stop him aside from a CC or something, like having slowed him before he engages with my teammates. So yeah, again, must destroy the initiators. Like right now, I focus for Victor. Must destroy one of them before they get to contribute, or at least control the flow of the fight, or then kill Caitlyn. Fortunately for this, the enemy team was not prepared for that. So Victor got just hand blasted and was forced to retreat. Wukong dove in without support and got murdered. I mean, Annie tried her best, but she obviously doesn't have the damage yet. And Caitlyn just got destroyed. Unfortunately, my Kog'Maw didn't react appropriately to the Jax, and he got to kill him for basically, well, not really free. He died as a result. and he killed the Kog'Maw and then finished me off. So that was a bad situation, but we still came out ahead of that. So both teams are so far having very sloppy fights. What needs to be happening is, for the enemy team at least, Wukong needs to somehow sneak in the back line and tear them to pieces, and Jax needs to kill me or kill Rengar and deal with them, and then the rest of their team needs to slowly iron their way towards the survivors. That's what they should do. Mine, I have to keep them from doing that. So watch this. I think this is where the fight... No, the fight doesn't happen soon enough. We're scouring the lands, we're securing Baron area, but check out the next fight that's about to happen. It's a very, very crucial fight. My teammates try to catch Victor, but they fail, and I go on the Caitlyn to pull out some damage, and watch. Wukong is coming by, and like I said, he wants to sneak to my back line, so he goes invisible. So I use Random's Omen to slow him so he can't reach my teammates. I am just trying to snare anyone who gets by. I use my smite to slow the Jax. I make sure to hit him before he jumps, so he might be at least snared when he's over the enemy team. And then, look, I use my ultimate on the Annie, because that's going to hit the most people and slow them down, keep them from doing anything. Boom, they can't contribute to the fight. My Q fails because I thought maybe they would try to flash, and I just kind of did it on a chain. But that fight was so crucial, and the way I handled my CC was important. I'll repeat that. You can rewatch it again. I used my Randuins to slow Wukong so he couldn't approach my teammates and do anything. I knew he was going to go invisible to try to sneak in and try to hit them. He didn't want to get CC'd by me. And he got slowed, he couldn't, so he disengaged. The other teammates, I kept snaring them and just using my body to keep them away. When Victor and Annie got close, I made sure to use my ultimate to knock all three of them up, including Caitlyn, and making sure they couldn't contribute to the fight. None of their CC and none of their ultimates would come into play as a result. So my teammates were able to kill Jax, then kill Wukong for basically no danger to themselves. Same situation here. Rengar goes for the Victor, and I just put myself as a wall to make sure Wukong and the Annie can't get to him. Then I use my ultimate on Caitlyn. She's completely exposed, and she just get hand blasted. So free Caitlyn kill there, basically. Again, I said I'm using myself as a total wall, and it's working out beautifully. That gank right there was very crucial in us getting Baron, and the fight before that was very crucial in solidifying our lead now. So yeah, this is probably Nautilus' biggest strength. They can't focus me. I don't do any damage, but I have so much crowd control that I can keep an entire team at bay just by myself. Nautilus' crowd control could be all the crowd control your team needs. I've said this a lot in a lot of videos. I've made an entire rant about it in his in-depth. It's just the most beautiful thing about Nautilus. Now watch this. Same situation happens. And remember my video about shepherding? I think that's actually one of the most important videos I've ever made. This is a good example of shepherding 101. So Jax wants to sneak behind to try to kill the Ashe and Ezreal. That's really stupid, honestly. And we make sure to CC him down. I use my ultimate, and then I leave him because I know it's going to hit him. He guides it to the Annie. I walk up to her, I slow her, I use my E. Then I slow snare the Wukong, then I go straight to the Caitlyn, grab her, pin her down, make sure she dies, because I knew my homies in the back would finish off the people who were already CC'd. I kept going forward to make sure I can wrangle the rest of them and keep them in place, so we could proceed to kill them as well. That's shepherding. And as a result of those two really crucial team fights, we dominated and won. Hooray for Nautilus! Remember to like the video to support the channel and to subscribe if you haven't yet. I have a few sponsors that are helping me maintain this channel, such as Loot Crate and Pro Build Systems. I have links to their websites on the description below. Use my code for a discount, and using my links also directly supports my channel.